Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
And we're going to make a bee skep. I picked up one of these little foam pieces from the Dollar Tree. I thought it would be the perfect base to get us started for a little skep for our coffee bar. So I'm going to use that same decorative nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, the thinner brown rope. And it ended up taking like 1.5 packages to make the size skep that I am going to make today. And I do have experience making these because I did make one of these for my bee tier tray 2 years ago. I used a metal bucket with that one, but I like this method a little bit better. Now, I know that hot glue likes to melt like the styrofoam, but I'm just going to work quickly with this, so I didn't really worry about it too much. I am just going to go ahead and do a bead of hot glue along the bottom and just making that kind of flush with the bottom of the scab. Then I'm going to keep gluing that around. I want to add glue to the foam and the rope below it. That way you can't see the green foam through the different pieces of rope. And also I want it to stay close and tight to that foam shape to kind of give me that like cone shape that a bee scap has. I remember researching these when I did the tier tray, and so I think I'm pretty familiar with kind of how they look. Now, when you run out of foam, what you're going to do is just hot glue it to the rope below it. And I'm kind of moving in a little bit each time I do it to kind of make it a little bit skinnier. And I'm going to keep doing that until I taper it off the top. It's going to kind of give me like a dome shape for this little bee scap. And one package of rope is just not going to be enough for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this package. Again, every time I'm gluing it on the one below it, and I go a little bit more towards the inside, making the circle a little skinnier. So I did have a scrap piece of this that's going to be perfect to finish this off. I can just make where I start and stop in the back, but I do need like a little loop for the top of my skep. So I just cut a piece of rope off now. I'm going to kind of glue it in there, but I'm going to probably wiggle that around a little bit. But that's what we have so far for a little bee skep. And we're going to start right where we left off here and just keep gluing that rope all the way around until it fills up that entire circle, kind of encasing that little loop in the top, which is kind of like a little like loop thing that you can use to pick the skep up, or like a hanger of some kind. I think it's to pick them up. And just gluing it tighter and tighter. And then once I get it pretty good and filled in, I can just cut my rope down to size and just finish gluing that down. The shape kept pretty well, even though I didn't have anything inside of it for like the top part. I did a pretty good job of gluing them together, so the shape is pretty good. I do want to clean it up a little bit now though, so I'm going to use my heat gun to try to like melt like any hot glue that I have that might be visible, since I did use a lot of hot glue on the rope. I also want to burn off all of the fuzzy, so I'm just going to go in with like a long lighter and just kind of burn off any imperfections that I see that are kind of sticking out. It's just going to clean it up. I always like to do that when I work with a rope project. I think it just makes them look nicer. So that looks pretty good. Now, the only thing I need to do on this still is to make like a little opening, a little hole in the front of the skep. And those are usually black. I'm just kind of working on my shape right there. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, I was thinking if I wanted to attach like a black fabric circle or something to the front, but I thought, rope paints pretty well, so I'm just going to use black acrylic paint. I think that's going to be the easiest method to do this. So just going to take a tiny brush from the Dollar Tree and some black acrylic paint, and right in the middle, we're just going to kind of start painting a circle. And don't worry if it's not perfect. You can just make your circle a little bit bigger if you need to until it like looks really good for you. So I kind of add to mine to kind of make it look a little bit more symmetrical. And it actually turned out to be just about the right size. And I'm really glad I did that method. I think that worked better than what I did before. Now, I thought it'd be cute to add a few more details, and I do have a few of those little wooden bees left over from the Dollar Tree. I didn't think the sticker would stick too well to the rope, though, so I'm just going to use hot glue and gluing those kind of coming in and out of the little bee scab. And that's how it turned out. I think this is going to be perfect on the bottom shelf of my bee coffee bar.
Now, let me give you a quick sneak peek of how the bee themed coffee bar turned out. Definitely one of my favorite coffee bars that I've done. I think it's so cute, so many fun bee touches.